Hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling mom to two boys, a first grader and a pre-Ker. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a summary wrap-up of what we got up to in both October and November. So let's get going. So we're gonna jump right into my first grader's math because that is the first subject that we start with every single day after breakfast, after some read-alouds. So for math, we're using Singapore dimensions. We love it. We're using both 1A for those days that my son just needs an easier time. And on days we want a challenge, more of a challenge, we're using 1B. Because technically my son is at the 1B level, but you know, there are sometimes those days you just want to take it a little easy. So let me show you 1A where we're at, and then I'll show you 1B. So this is his textbook for 1A and his workbook for 1A. And we just finished up chapter 3 in this curriculum, and chapter 3 was on addition. This is a great refresher for him, but what is really his level is 1B. So let me show you what we're on in level 1B. So again, textbook workbook for 1B. We just finished chapter 13 in this curriculum, and chapter 13 focused on addition and subtraction within the number 40. And the following chapter, chapter 14, focuses on sharing and regrouping. So I'm excited to see how he does with sharing and regrouping, because this curriculum teaches math so much differently than our old curriculum. This curriculum is very hands-on, very repetitive. This curriculum, I'm excited to see how he learns sharing and regrouping, because our old curriculum, that's why we kicked it out, because they taught sharing and regrouping like, I mean, go watch that video. I'll link it down below. I'm blanking on the curriculum's name. Masterbooks Math Lessons for Living Education Level 2. The way they taught regrouping, my child didn't, I mean, it just threw out the concept and then expected them to basically understand it. And it did not work for my child. So I'm excited to see how this goes, because like I said, it starts small and then they build and build and build upon concepts to make a really firm foundation of knowledge for the child's math skills. Super excited to see how he does with sharing and regrouping in December. But yeah, for math, basically the 1B, I have him go a half hour for each lesson, and the 1B, I have him go 20-minute chunks, because 1B is a lot more difficult than 1A. The progression from 1A is like 2 to 3 workbook pages per lesson, whereas 1B has 4 to 5 or maybe even 6 workbook pages per lesson. But again, I think this curriculum just really builds that firm knowledge and firm foundation, and really challenges the child. There's even parts of the curriculum that say challenge, so, and those are definite challenges for my son, and he's learning so much. We love this curriculum. After math, my first grader normally takes a break, and then I work with my pre-Ker, and I will get to my pre-K in a little bit, but after his break, he gets to do language arts. We are using the Good and the Beautiful language arts curriculum. This gets the job done. It's an all-in-one. He has learned to read from this ever since level K. He's progressing nicely. We're almost halfway done with this curriculum. We're on we just finished lesson 52, and there are 120 lessons in this curriculum. So this is just a 4-day-a-week curriculum. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, he's progressing. He is loving the letter tile app. That's, I think, his favorite. But yeah, teaching him phonics skills, the booster cards. He loves earning those stickers. The booster cards are really teaching him skills, and he's mastering them. And I'm just so impressed with the phonics skills he's learning and his reading abilities. He loves to read. So that is a huge, huge blessing because I love to read. So having him like be like, Mom, I just want to read with you, and he sits next to me and reads, it's fantastic. My only criticism with that curriculum is the booster books. There's not that many books. We're more than halfway done with all the books in the booster book little box. So, and I'm having to supplement with a lot of readers. He loves Paw Patrol, so I picked up a bunch of Paw Patrol readers from the library, and that's really motivating him. But I wish there was more booster books. That's like my only criticism regarding the Good and the Beautiful's language arts curriculum for level 1. Along with language arts from the Good and the Beautiful, we also have his handwriting curriculum from the Good and the Beautiful. Honestly, I'm not too strict about his handwriting. He does it maybe like 2 or 3 times a week, just as I remember. It's not on like one of my check boxes. It gets the job done for handwriting. So now let's talk about my pre-K. Now, my pre-K, he is progressing so well. I have him work after brother gets done with math. That's his time for homeschool with me for his language arts and math. So let me show you what we've been getting up to in October and November. Now, just like Big Brother, we are using Singapore dimensions for our pre-K. This is PKA. We just finished chapter 4 in this curriculum, which is Numbers to 5 part 1. And then the next chapter, chapter 5, is Numbers to 5 part 2. So again, it builds this really strong foundation of number skills, and it just builds and builds and builds. So his lessons just take, instead of my first graders lessons like 20 minutes to 30 minutes, his are just like 10-minute lessons. So, but they're building that really strong math foundation principles. So my pre-K loves this curriculum. I think also because it's just like Big Brothers. And for handwriting for my pre-K, we are using Learning Without Tears, my first school book. He has loved doing this with me. He will do like 5-6 pages out of this every day. He absolutely loves it. We're almost done with it, honestly. We've done all the letters, and now he just did the review pages recently. We're fine through this. We're gonna get the purple one for him next, because I'm using this as a handwriting curriculum, but also to review his phonics skills. So every letter that I had him write and learn, I was also really drilling in the phonics sounds related to the actual graphing he was writing. So he was getting the graphing practice, he was getting the phonics practice, he was getting a lot of learning from me as a speech language pathologist, using this curriculum to really hone in that the grapheme makes the sound, but it is also a letter. So those 3 concepts, if I was really drilling in to him for each of this handwriting practice. Now, the curriculum for my pre-K that honestly we have not been using as rigorously as I would have liked, because I printed this and I bound this, and it was a lot of work on my end. However, it's okay. But that curriculum is the Gather Round, the Numbers and Letters. This is the In the Forest. He's just, yes, he will sometimes choose to do this one, but he is always choosing to do the handwriting book over this book. But I will say, I like doing the read aloud portion. The read aloud portion from the teacher's manual takes like 5 minutes. So I read it during like a lunch break, and we're learning about an animal, all those concepts about animals that are in the forest. I think we last left off on the robin, or maybe it was the porcupine. So we're enjoying learning about the animals during our read aloud time, but it's just his student workbook he's not the biggest fan. Here's the teacher manual for the In the Forest curriculum. And yeah, I really like, yeah, we left off on the porcupine. So it's a nice informational lesson about different animals. So we learned about the porcupine, and then it has a nice little just blurb to bring it back to God, to Jesus. So that's nice that we get to do some zoology during our schooling. But honestly, this is not our favorite curriculum. Just, I never really reach for it. And my child never really reaches for it either. So that was my pre-Kers individual subjects. So let's now jump into our family subjects. Let's just start with social studies. So for social studies, we are using Around the World with Picture Books Part 2 by Beautiful Feet Books. And we, in October, covered France, and in November covered Spain. And this is literature heavy, so let me show you all the picture books we read related to this curriculum. And this honestly isn't even all of them, because some of them I had to return to the library. So let me bring them over. You guys, this isn't even all of them. So that's all the books we read for Spain and France. It's really heavy. So we got a lot of read alouds in for our social studies curriculum. France, the boys loved learning about the Eiffel Tower. They want to go to the Eiffel Tower one day. And honestly, my favorite is doing the animals and eating the cuisine. That's honestly my favorite. But yeah, for social studies, honestly, nothing really stands out about each of these units for me. Nothing was like a wow factor. There were a lot of read alouds. They got a lot of knowledge. We enjoyed the nature study with the animals. We enjoyed the mapping. We enjoyed the cuisine, but nothing really stood out in this curriculum. And honestly, like for example, in the Spain section, like, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, it says passport to Spain, and then it like lists all these famous paintings, and then here are the paintings. So, but like, I guess I'm just not an art history person. I honestly could care less about art appreciation for a first grader and a pre-K. So maybe I'm missing something as the teacher, but just like, to me, I'm not going to look at these paintings or artistry and have my children discuss them, because I don't care. I just don't. So there's that. But a lot of good books, a lot of good read aloud choices. So thumbs up for the read alouds. I have videos on Around the World with Picture Books that I will link in the description. Now getting to my favorite subject, science. I am technically a scientist, a speech language pathologist. I love science. We are using Gather Around's space unit. My boys wanted to learn about space. We are learning about space. And I also forgot to mention that on Fridays, that is our Fun Friday. So we're doing a lot of our social studies work on Fun Friday and a lot of our science work on Fun Friday. So I forgot to mention that earlier. But science, my favorite subject. So over the months of October and November, we have done quite a few of these lessons. We've learned about the Earth, the Moon, Mars, asteroids, comets, and meteors, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. So we've learned a lot, and the boys are loving it. One thing I will say about this curriculum that our previous curriculum was just stellar in was picking out videos from Free School, from SciShow Kids. Those are our two loves, like YouTube loves. We love videos related to science from Free School and SciShow Kids. Absolutely love it. So I've had to search on YouTube for videos to correlate with each lesson, because my boys are like, we want a science video. And honestly, we've learned so much. We just finished up Neptune and Uranus, and we got to learn I mean, we watched this video about Voyager 2, how Voyager 2 did a flyby of those two gas giants, or I should say ice giants, and discovered so much information about those planets, and how Voyager 1 and 2 are like going into interstellar space like soon. We're learning so much from both this curriculum, but also what I'm supplementing it with. But honestly, the boys are just loving learning about space. They got to choose this topic. They're every day playing Voyager, or they're playing Bepi Colombo on a mission to Mercury. They're just very into science, just like I am, like twirling around in circles saying that they're the dark spot of Neptune or the red spot of Jupiter, like just stuff like that. They're learning so much. I don't know if I'm going to be using Gather Round curriculum in the future. I wanted to try it out, see how it was, but honestly, I'm not completely sold on this curriculum. This unit doesn't just cover space. It goes into, for example, they talk about the Declaration of Independence, and they talk about like biology, and it's just maybe not the curriculum for us going forward, but I see the appeal of this curriculum. And I think the last thing I'm going to talk about in this curriculum is our Bible and our literature. So for Bible, we're using the Child's Story Bible, and we read basically one story a day out of this. We are currently on King Saul and gonna get into King David, so that's where we are in the Bible story. And we're also using the Charlotte Mason method of scripture memorization, which is going very well for us. And for literature, I mean, you saw those picture books that we've been reading, but we also have been continuing our Winnie the Pooh read alouds. I love this. I think I am more enjoying this more than the boys, but hey, that's okay. So that's how our October and November went for us. We also had co-op classes that we went to, and we will continue to go in December. So yeah, that about wraps up what we got up to in October and November. Yeah, let me know how your homeschool is going. Let me know all of it, or what you guys got up to in your homeschool. I'd love to chat with you guys. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys have a fantastic day wherever you're at. Bye.